Utility Authority, Housing Successor, Successor Agency, and City Council to order. City Clerk, roll call, please.
Councilmember Martin. Councilmember Mora.
Here.
Councilmember Sarno. Mayor Pro Tem Zamora.
Here.
Mayor Rodriguez.
Here.
I would like to announce that members of the Public Financing Authority and the Water Utility Authority receive $150 for their attendance at these meetings. Thank you.
Thank you. I would like to call upon Councilmember Martin to give the invocation.
Bow your heads. Heavenly Father, we ask your blessing on this council as we meet tonight. Grant us both wisdom and compassion as we make decisions about the future of our community. We ask this in your holy name. Amen.
At this time, I'd like to call upon the Young Marines to lead in the Pledge of Allegiance.
It's working? Okay. If you will place your right hand over your heart, ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, I'd like the Young Marines to announce their names and if you have any hobbies or sports that you're in.
My name is Reina Montalvo, and I'm not in any sports at this time, but some of the hobbies I like to do is paint or draw.
My name is Sofia Montalvo. I'm not in any sports, but I do like to draw and I can play the guitar.
My name is Lucas Goodwin. I play soccer and I like to run and draw.
My name is My name is Joseph Goodwin. I do cross country and basketball and track, and I like to read.
All right, get Lucas. Oh, okay. Since the Young Marines are present, I would like to consider item number 5B first. Presentation and recognition of Young Marines for being a role model and advocate for living a healthy and drug-free lifestyle. I would like to call on Lucas Nguyen.
History of Red Ribbon Week. Kiki Camarena was an American drug officer. He was behind some of the biggest drug busts in the 1980s. During a big drug bust in 1985, he was kidnapped and killed. He received many special honors during his time as a DEA agent. After his death, his town of Calexico, California, wore red ribbons to honor him. In 1985, First Lady Nancy Reagan gave a proclamation, and soon after, California and several other states began wearing red ribbons in late October. It became a national event in 1988. Each year, millions of people celebrate October 23rd to 31st with red ribbons and parades.
Come back up, Lucas. At this time, we would like to present each one of you with a certificate of recognition and a copy of last council meeting's Red Ribbon Week proclamation for your efforts toward a drug-free America and for being a role model to the youth in our community. So I would like to give this to Joseph Goodwin. Lucas Goodwin. Reina Montalvo. Sofia Montalvo. And Lucas, would you like to take the proclamation, please? And let's take a picture.
One more thing I wanted to say.
You could go to the podium.
Oh, no, it's right here. So we were the third bracelets again for the.
Great job, young Marines. We are so proud of you. Thank you so much. And now we're going to move on to presentation 5A, retirement recognition for Jean Madrid, Program Coordinator. I would like to call on Family and Human Services Manager, Ed Ramirez.
Good evening, Madam Mayor, Council. Before I call her forward, I do have a few words to say about her. Jean Madrid, or as we all know her, Jeannie, retired from services to the Santa Fe Springs on Friday, September 30th, 2022. Jeannie worked with the Department of Community Services for 45 years. Let's let that sink in. 45 years. She started with the city in May of 1977 as a part-time recreation attendant to then become a full-time employee at 1988 as a program coordinator in recreation. Through the years, Jeannie has worked with many employees throughout the organization to include business residents and countless community youth to eventually even having the opportunity to hire and work alongside many of them. She held roles in all areas of parks and recreation, worked at Heritage Park, library, social services at one point when it was called social services, and now most recently Family and Human Services. She has been involved in countless programs to include original events that no longer exist, such as the Stargaze concerts, the city parades, the first night, and then to even become more involved with the most recent events like Fun Run and Art Fest. Jeannie decided to pursue the field because she loved working with the public and wanted to make a difference in people's lives. During her years in service, Jeannie strived to provide the best customer service to her staff and the community. She learned that over time, things change, but if you love what you do, you'll always grow. When I asked Jeannie what she now is planning on doing, she said that she's going to continue to care for her mother, travel with her sister Joanne, and volunteer by cuddling and rocking NICU babies, providing infants comfort and appropriate stimulation, helping preemies grow faster and to go home to their families sooner. Another great way Jeannie will continue with her community service. Excuse me. Jeannie, I wish you much relaxation, extra days of sleeping in, which you've already shared with me that you have been doing, and hope the best for you on your next chapter of life. Madam Mayor, at this time, I would like to call Jeannie Madrid forward and thank her and recognize her for her 45 years of service to Santa Fe Springs. Congrats.
This is my nephew. I started at my senior year of high school in the summer, and we did, I started in recreation. I learned a lot from a lot of really great people. I learned how to be a leader, a mentor, and just how to care for a community and what community really, really was and is. So with that, I'd like to thank everyone. I thank all the people who came out here, all my friends, and now are my family. And if you ever need anything, give me a call. I'd love to help out, Kathy. And I'm just I'm 4.5 miles away right now because I'm taking care of my mom. And like I said, my sister retired 3 years ago. I beat her in years. And we plan on doing a lot of traveling after, fixing our house in New Mexico up, and rocking babies at Chalks in Orange County. So that's my goal. And so thank you again for a bunch of great people who I will carry deep in my heart. Thank you.
Jeannie, come on up and take a picture. Bring your family. Your family and friends?
No, they're no longer friends.
They're all families.
They're all family.
Yes.
Well, this is my immediate right here.
He's adorable.
Right here.
Yes. Go ahead. Does anybody have any comments or anything they'd like to say to Jean? Jeannie? We call her Jeannie.
Jeannie, you have been my mentor. You've been the Thelma, I've been the Louise. Thank you for being such a mentor to so many Park and Rec staff. Thanks for taking us under your wing. Don't cry, because then I'll cry. Just thank you for having the heart that you do. Park and Rec was about you. Park and Rec, you took us under your wings. I mean, you touched so many lives. You've been there for us. You've been there at hospitals. You've been there at weddings, at funerals, whenever we needed. Jeannie was always there. I'm gonna miss my 7:45 to 8 o'clock honk every morning when you drove by. But your family to me, your family to many of us here. Even though you won't be coming to work, you're still part of the family, and you know that. Enjoy retirement. Enjoy so many things that you well deserve. We love you.
Okay, gosh, I started and you were already here. And I think, so many people know you, so many regulars have come and gone. But you were kind of like the pillar, part of recreation, part of community services. And, you have touched so many lives. So I completely agree with what Juanita has said. We're gonna miss you being here at the city, but you're not too far away where we could call and, you're my friend. So I appreciate everything you did. And thank you for the phone call and text during Daniel's tough time. Appreciate it.
Jeannie, same thing, just to echo what my colleagues have said. I mean, I've met you since being a little boy here, being in the parks, and, you were always there helping us all out. And, the the wisdom that you share with so many other workers here in our community. And, it just says a lot about you, 45 years, in one company, that's a long time. And, just thank you for your service. And, the fact that you've been such a trooper these last couple of years, dealing with the issues that you've been dealing with personally. And, the fact that you've helped be that rock in your home, just caring for every family member, and some of them you've lost and you still stood strong. So, I mean, just the fact of what you've done. And I know a lot of the seniors are going to miss you. And, and I know the city's going to miss you. And I know you're still going to get phone calls, right, from different staff people. So I just want to thank you and thank you for being the individual that you are. Thank you and God bless.
I can't say what I want to say because I think 45 years of service it's just wow. I mean, you're probably the last person to kick me off the park when I was a kid. I mean, nobody else is left. You really are a staple. You and your sister, you guys are the staple of Santa Fe Springs because you know what tradition, what family, what it was to grow up in this city. And we're losing a piece of history right here. And this is very, very sad for us as a community and for a city because there's nobody left that can tell us things that happened back in the day because they're all gone. And 45 years of service, I love you to death, Jeannie. There's nothing that I would not do for you because you have touched so many lives and family members and kids. You've touched everybody's heart. And it's amazing. It really is. You and your sister, because you guys really gave your lives to us. And all we can do is say thank you. And that's not even enough. But we love you guys. You will always be part of our hearts and our lives, no matter what. So thank you guys for your service and your commitment to our community and our residents. So thank you guys. Love you.
On the bus and they would take the people to the drink or whatever they said and we would come back. Okay. And I just Joe Angel, my God, we go back many, many years. And young boy, saw you grow up, you hung out with my nephew, and all. So thank you very much, for always being very kind to me and talking to me about stuff that I had for my brother. Annette, good luck, and your endeavor here with the city. We didn't get to spend much time, but good luck. Juanita, my God, can't say enough. Juanita, when I was doing the consulting in South. So I would come to the pageant with my two Rottweilers wearing the little hills when I could, because I always ran and jumped in it. And even did sports. But when I had a Rottweiler, this girl got a Rottweiler. When I had a Corvette, she beat me out, got the Porsche. Okay, so we always tried to mirror things that we did. She had sisters, and I will tell you that right. Yep, we're there for each other, for our families, and there for each other. And Jay, my God, Jay is the cutest little boy ever. No, you're really. But Jay was the cutest little boy with his bold, tiny haircut. And he was an entrepreneur since he was like 5 or 6 years old. And I will tell you right now, Jay was like that. I used to in New York to go see him. But he would say, I got beta cheap. Because they're pirated, but I'm gonna get them to you. And then Jay, we used to just, this is when kids would actually come out to the park and hang out. I mean, there was no PlayStation, Nintendo, nothing like that. We were the PlayStation and Nintendo. So we would be pulling up in our cars to unlock the gate. And those kids would be hanging out. And you're late. You know, and we would have kids there from in the summer, like from 10 o'clock until 5 o'clock. And they didn't go home. They stayed there with us. They did not go home. And so what we did as park leaders, there used to be the market basket. So I'm going way back with the market basket. And they had rotisserie chickens and bread. And we would go out and buy a rotisserie chicken and bread, and we would spread the chicken and all kids ate. Okay, so they never went home, or it was peanut butter and jelly sandwich. So we would send Jay or someone else to go to Market Basket and go get the chicken. And we'd say, here's the money. And he'd go, got it. That kind of still stands true. So Jay was the entrepreneur and a little millionaire when he was a kid because he could afford the $5. So they scraped together. So thank you once again. Thank you for 45 years of great memories. And like I said, I hold you all right here. Thank you.
Excuse me, Jeannie, I just wanted to say something too. So 45 years is a long time, and you should be very, very proud because you've served so long in your position, in every position that you've been here in Santa Fe Springs. I want to thank you for everything that you did for me when I came on 4 years ago, and just the nice things when the pandemic hit and, you know, do you want something to drink? How can I help you? You're always there to serve. When Carlos passed away and we had gone to his service, you had got up and spoke, and I was just so enlightened I was touched by the way you spoke about him, and I could tell that you were really close. It wasn't just a coworker relationship, it was family. So, you know, yeah, I've only been on here for 4 years, but I would have loved that opportunity with you to be family. But I want to welcome you to retirement and just have a blessed retirement. Enjoy your life. And as they say, live, love, laugh, and be happy. So thank you. And now we're moving on to public comments. Public comments are now open. Anyone joining us through Zoom can use the raise hand function if you wish to make a public comment on any item on the agenda or not on the agenda. The city clerk will see if you have raised your hand through the Zoom application. For those that are here to make a public comment in person, you will have an opportunity once the city clerk announces your name. You will have 3 minutes to speak. City clerk, do we have any members of the public that wish to speak today?
Madam Mayor, we have 8 speakers. The first speaker is Lee Squire.
Squire, City of Downey, Vietnam veteran, retired Bray employee, 31 years, finance and accounting, auditor and fraud examiner. Mayor and city council, and we the people of the city of Santa Fe Springs. Central Basin fraud and corruption. Denied the annual receipt of audits of Central Basin and also denied knowledge of ongoing lawsuits. My comments are directed to Nona Grady, specifically as Central Basin Vice President. My first question is, have you removed that fraudster Alex Rojas yet? At the last council meeting, I made public the failure of these annual audits being sent to the member cities, including Downey and Santa Fe Springs, primarily by former city manager, assistant city manager, John Askewy. However, the most recent audit, 2021, I gave copies to your city clerk. Lawsuits. Lawsuits served on public entities and cities are public record, not attorney-client privilege, to be concealed in closed session. Only the discussions in closed session are confidential. I want to know is why didn't Nona Negretti, as your Central Basin Vice President, fail to provide copies of a minute order dated July the 27th, 2022, where the court ruled against Central Basin for violating free speech rights of board member Leticia Vasquez Wilson for raising issues about the quality of Downey water and a prior lawsuit called an illegal fixed meter charge. Failure to provide a copy of a tentative ruling dated August 19th, 2022, as to violations of her civil rights and free speech rights of the board member Leticia Vasquez Wilson. Does the non-disclosure of these lawsuits to we the people of the Santa Fe Springs violated his duty, even as a city employee, as to disclosing violations of free speech, which I will not tolerate? Finally, stop hate against police, and parents are not domestic terrorists who exercise free speech rights. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next, we have Anthony Santana.
Hi, Anthony.
Everybody, thank you that allowed me here to speak. I just want to speak from my heart, you know. First, I want to thank Jeannie. I don't know if she remembers me, but I used to work for the park, you know, from Los Nietos and Santa Fe Springs, and I seen her and her sister did a lot for the community. So much love to you for your retirement and all that. But I just want to one word really want to just come out and say in Proverbs 29:18 say without a vision people perish. And what I say that is that without a vision for this community, you got to have a vision for this community, and or else it's going to fall apart. Like Jeannie said, you know, back then it was Santa Fe Springs. Back then we had the park. Back then we had the parade. Back then we had the fiesta where it used to be at Gus Velasco's, right? The neighborhoods. And back then, what I'm saying that I want that back. I want that back. Don't worry about whatever else is going on, but I want that back. And with all that, I say that once again, I have the right to vote for who I want to vote for. So does everybody else, and have the right to speak who I want to speak for. And this evening, I'm speaking for Annette. She has done a lot. She has gone to my church. She has helped out the youth. She has did a lot of donations. She has pushed a lot, and I've seen her work hard. And what I'm saying that without that vision, she don't have nothing. But for me, she follows my vision. I go, I want all those things back. People, I want that back. And that's what we need to do. We need to work together. Instead of going against the grain, go with the grain. We need to work together as a community. And I just want to thank everybody here, allowing me here to speak. God bless you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Next, we have Alan C.
Hello, Alan.
Okay, I'm kind of nervous. I'm a visitor from a next city over from Downey. I don't know if I could match what was mentioned earlier, but my concern is the Central Basin Water District. We have an issue in Downey with our city council and the suppressing of information that is not being delivered to the ratepayers to the Central Basin. We are not being told what has been going on or what is going on right now. So I did a little digging and I found out back in 2015, if we can connect some of these dots, that Cristina Garcia tried to reform the Central Basin. Now, I don't know all the measures that she tried to put in, but it did not happen. Okay. Now let's speed forward to 2020. That's when I started taking an interest in our city affairs. We had an election of Mayor Blanca Pacheco. We had a lockdown starting in March of 2020. And she was continually trying to suppress our First Amendment rights, she was one of the people trying to do that. I also noticed that we had a gentleman named John Ascui, who was the assistant city manager. He was appointed to the Central Basin Water District. but he worked as assistant city manager. He was involved in some incidents that was suppressed. He was eventually put on administrative leave, and we never knew why he was put on administrative leave in March of 2022. Nothing. We knew absolutely nothing until he opted to retire here in October. But no repercussions of any kind. He was just put on administrative leave and then allowed to retire. Well, it turns out he was involved in the Central Basin and doing some things and doing the covering up. So I tried to look over at the Central Basin Water District. I'm going to run out of time here. But I was concerned about the illegal price fixing for the ratepayers. And none of this information was ever brought to us, and we are the ratepayers. Now, our relationship with the city council is that it's your job. You have a fiduciary responsibility to present any audits, any reports, any lawsuits, and it was all covered up, and it's still being covered up today. And that's our concern. We've heard people talking about vision and open transparency. We're not getting it in Downey. We are a city that is declining, not declining, they're collapsing. And
Next, we have Ray Trillo.
Hello, my name is Ray Trillo. I'm a resident of Santa Fe Springs. I'm here to discuss on a few things that I want to give accolades and credit where credit is due to Annette Rodriguez. I'm here in support of Mayor Annette Rodriguez. I want to just thank her for her dedication, commitment, and strong will to do right for others in the community. Her job is tough. She gets ridiculed falsely in many areas. She continues with her focus, and that's how a leader is supposed to be. She is a leader that is eager to help others to become better. And I've seen her do it with my niece over here. And she wants to help the community become a safe place. She had to make sure, and she is willing to make sure for the welfare of others as well. And I've seen it firsthand. So thank you, Annette, for that. And I just want to say a few accomplishments that Annette has done. She has fought for the security camera rebate program for the city. She during the pandemic, she fought for the flags and for the large poster banners for the graduation school of 2021, class of 2021. She completed the 15K grant for the group. She's also had let me see, I lost my place here. She's also the first mayor to do a deep dive and to solve a 10-year-old problem with the Maidstone for better quality of life. She is also sponsored by the Latina Lead, Run Lead and Empower, and she's also was the president of the Santa Fe Springs Women's Club for 5 years in 2016 to 2006 to 2000. I also want to say some of my disappointments. And I mean, I've seen it. I see lots of flyers going around. I see a lot of things that are posted on Facebook by some of the council members, and all of which is not display any kind of whatsoever.
Thank you, Ray. Thank you.
Next, we have Stella Bastida.
Hello, good evening. First, let me start by saying to Jeannie, you have been a role model to me my entire life, and having you as family has just to see what you've done for this city is just incredible, and you will be missed, especially when I need to call you and say, Jeannie, what about this? So anyhow, this is a great loss for the city because she is one incredible patron and cheerleader and representative of our city. So anyhow, but I wanted to circle back to my original journey when I started here back in September in regards to the traffic light desire request for Whiteland and Oranday Road. This was the little diagram that I had submitted early on. Well, what is really remarkable about our city is that the residents and their desire for safety. And as I walked around with my fellow neighbor, Lisa France, we ended up getting 88 signatures so far. There's many more to come for a desire to have and a strong need to have a traffic signal on Oranday Road and Whiteland. And unfortunately, on October 5th, there was an accident. There was an incident, a collision where there were 2 children involved. And again, the blind spot, it's a freeway. It's no longer an Oranday Road. It's a freeway. The way people just drive and carelessly don't even pay attention to the traffic, pay attention to anyone who's crossing. This is a safety concern. And the residents around this immediate area of our community, they're concerned. They want something done. They're coming to the city to say, please take note of this. Please help us. Please bring safety to this intersection. It's not just that intersection, but it's also Terradale, Pioneer, Charlesworth, that little strange triangle. And I know it's gone back and forth. The city blames the state says it's the city. Well, whosever's issue it is, it's all of our issue because we're all residents. We all have family. We all want to cross the street safely without any injury. So we're coming as a community to say, please bring attention to this. Please take a serious look at this. Please address this so we can feel comfortable crossing the street. We can feel comfortable getting in our cars. There's a lot of other concerns every other neighborhood has, but this tends to be an ongoing issue. And we're just saying, please help us. Please take a look at it. Please do something. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
Next, we have Bianca.
Good evening, Madam Mayor and lovely council members and the community of Santa Fe Springs. My name is Bianca Loreto. I'm with Soledad Enrichment Action, and we've been welcomed into the community. And I just wanted to say thank you. We had lovely time at both of your events. We have a lot of referrals coming in from the family members that we were able to meet at the Fiesta de Patrias and the Dia de los Muertos. So I just wanted to say thank you so much, and I can't wait to continue to do great works in the community. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Next, we have Michelle Carbajal.
Good evening, everyone. Madam Mayor, Council. I'm a resident of the city for Lord willing, 54 years in December. I'm born and bred in the city all my life. I love my city, but I have some concerns that I feel need to be addressed. My concerns are the action of Councilmember Sarno. The way he treats our leaders is unacceptable. He has continued to violate the code of conduct. The last violation was his verbal assault on Mayor Rodriguez. Yelling and spitting in her face isn't enough. Now there's untrue mail out there. The mayor continues to be positive, works hard for this committee, for our citizens, and for our great city. She shows transparency in all she does. She empowers women and girls, and I thank you for that, Annette. It is her hard work and efforts that minimize your ability to shine. It's not her fault for your shortcomings. All you do is continue to bring no value and cause hate and division amongst the council. You need to stop bullying our leaders that want to move our city forward. And please do not bully me again on social media as you did in the past. Defamation of character is a crime. Have a good evening, everyone.
Thank you.
Next, we have Rodolfo Cortez.
Yes, hello, Mayor and Council. My name is Rodolfo Cortez. So I am here, also from Downey, like the other gentleman. I am here and we are here because we're very concerned about what's going on indeed with the Central Basin. And we have the Vice President here, Mr. Noe Negrete. So we're very concerned because for anyone that doesn't know, the Central Basin is that building as you go on I-5 towards downtown. You can see it right by the casino. You see Central Basin. It's this huge sign. You can't miss it. However, unfortunately, now the building has been sold, and that's just one of the problems. It's a problem because we don't even know who it's been sold to. So who bought the building? Why are they refusing public records requests? Like when you transact a public building, public real estate, you're supposed to be, the public should know who it's being sold to. We still don't know. So Mr. Negrete and the other people there are hiding the information. So we're very alarmed. And that's just one element of what has been going on there. Again, yeah, we in the Southeast LA area, we pay to the Central Water Basin. So why is it that they're then selling the thing we paid for and we don't even get to find out about it? There's all sorts of issues here. Also, the general manager, who's the equivalent of the city manager, was recently, on Gascon. He got indicted, and he's gonna go for his arraignment. So there's like really bad things happening over there at the Central Basin. And so we are here to please request that some council members, please, we need Mr. Negrete to bring stability back to the Central Basin. And it's not stable when you're just selling off a public building and there's no questions asked. And why are the meetings still on Zoom? Why can't we, with the public, go and speak their mind and like you thankfully have here? Why do we have this situation? I also, for the record, want to file this minute order that so they try to sue one of the directors who's outspoken about all these issues. I believe she's been here before, Leticia Vasquez Wilson. They try to sue her for giving me an interview here on this camera, the Political Life YouTube channel, which has many water issues here in the region. So the minute order was granted. So, they're saying it's nonsense. She can speak about these issues. Please stop silencing her.
Next, we have Nadine. Madam Mayor, we might be having some difficulties with the microphones.
Test.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Nadine Lopez, and I too just wanted to go ahead and speak out about some flyers notices that are going around about the mayor at hand. And, I just felt the need, I had to be here and speak my piece because just being a mentee really for over 20 years and just having that involvement and interaction with the current mayor and just knowing the type of person she is, I couldn't just say, hey, all this stuff is coming up. It's not okay to be silent about it. I wanted to speak up and say it's not right. And, I appreciate the hard work that you have done. My family is all over the city. We grew up in this neighborhood. And the staff members growing up, everybody that's involved in the city, it's just, we love Santa Fe Springs. And whatever it is that we can do to make it better, council members, there's so many great experiences that I've been through over the years, and you add to it. And I just want you to know that, I appreciate you. I thank you for allowing me or having that opportunity to mentor me 20 years ago. And still today, we're in connection. I appreciate that. I appreciate you picking up the phone if there's something that we have a concern about. I feel like that's exactly what we need in the city. There are many members. Like I said, I'm 40, been in the city of Santa Fe Springs since I was born. And I've seen so much that the city has done for me, my family, my siblings, and it's a great city. And if there's anything that we can do to make it better, my family is all for it. And we've expressed that to you. And I just want you to know that you're appreciated. And I just wanted to mention that. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Nadine.
Madam Mayor, that concludes our speakers.
Okay, thank you. I just want to say Nadine was my mentee when she was 16 years old. She's still my mentee. Thank you. All right, I will now close public comments and move on to the next item. Item number 7, Public Financing Authority Agenda. We have 2 consent items. Is there a motion for the approval of item number 7A and 7B?
I'll move 7A and 7B.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? So ordered. Item number 8, Water Utility Authority Agenda. We have 2 consent items. Is there a motion for the approval of items number 8A and through 8C?
I'll move 8A through 8C.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
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 Those opposed? So ordered. Item number 9, Housing Successor Agenda. We have 1 consent item. Is there a motion for the approval of item number 9?
Second.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed? So ordered. Item number 10, Successor Agency Agenda. We have 1 consent item. Is there a motion for the approval of item number 10?
I'll move.
I'll second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? So ordered. Item number 11, City Council Agenda. We have 8 consent items, A through H. Is there a motion for the approval of the City Council Consent Agenda?
I'll move A through H.
All those in favor say aye.
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 Those opposed? So ordered. Item number 12, amendment number 3 to the exclusive negotiating agreement between the city and Westland Industries for the development of real property owned by the city, parentheses APN 8009-007930, southwest corner of Norwalk Boulevard and Telegraph Road. I would like to call on the Director of Planning, Wayne Morrell.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Just real quickly. Today's staff is before you to ask an extension of the existing ENA. This is the property at Telegraph and Norwalk Boulevard. It's known as the Sculpture Garden site. We currently have an ENA with Westland Development to develop the property in substantial conformance with what is shown on the screen. There are 2 wells on the site, and that is the reason why I'm before you today. Those 2 wells we need to excavate, locate the well, and test the wells to make sure they are not leaking. So far, the picture in the middle, we've already staked the wells so we know precisely where they are located. These are the 2 wells. We've spoken to at least 2 of the operators of the well, and hopefully we will have a similar agreement with the other operator. But the goal is essentially to find a well and test it to make sure it's not leaking. If it's not leaking, then we can proceed as opposed to having the well reabandoned to current standard. So right now, we have solicited proposal from firms to essentially give us a proposal to find a well and test it. That will take some time, and depending on the amount of the proposal, it may mean coming back to you for approval to enter into that agreement. So again, that is the reason why I'm here before you today requesting additional time to do that work. Thank you.
Are there any other questions for Wayne about this item?
So Wayne, I got a question. So if we do the testing and then we find out how much it costs, obviously, when we sell it, we're gonna sell it as a clean piece of land versus selling it as is for the Westland Group to figure that cost out.
Councilmember Sarno and council, we would still be, those terms would be negotiated with the developer. So that will come back before you.
Thank you.
Oh, real quick, Wayne, how long will this take? Approximately.
Hopefully by next week, I will have a proposal. And again, depending on the amount, because I'm only authorized on my own to approve certain amounts. So depending on the amount, I will need to come back to council to get approval, to enter into that agreement. And then we'll work out a schedule with the company to do the work.
All right, anyone else? Is there a motion for the approval of item number 12?
I'll move.
All those in favor, say aye. Aye. Those opposed? So ordered. Item number 13, Municipal Services Yard Warehouse and Administration Office Roof Replacement, authorization to advertise for construction bids. I would like to call on Director of Public Works, Noe Negrete.
Thanks, Madam Mayor and Council. Item before you is authorizing us to go out to bid for the roof replacement over at the Municipal Services Yard in the admin building. This is one of the projects on the CIP, and we'd like to get started on before it starts raining some more. Any questions?
I have a question. Is there any way that we can also look into solar, being put on placed on top of it? Because I know there is some grant programs that if you put solar, they will help with the cost of the roofing too.
We could, but that would mean do you want us to stop this or do you want us to go forward with this? Solar is not part of it now.
No, I know, but we had mentioned, I know I had mentioned this before that, to look into all of our facilities when it comes to the CPI, so it's just a thought, at least for the next time you could actually, just look that up.
So are you saying you want us to continue or do you want us to come back with looking at solar?
We can continue, but in the future items, if you don't mind looking that up.
So, Mayor Pro Tem, you're asking if any future roof projects that we look at solar to be a part of it.
Yeah, because we've been talking about, I know we've talked in some of our, past meetings when we've gotten together as council and we have our goals and objectives that we're trying to do. And some of the things that we've talked about, nothing's happened. I mean, that's how I feel. I don't want to speak for anyone else. I don't think we're doing the things that we need to do to, whether we're going green to help out, energy efficient, so we're just, I know I'm speaking for myself. I'm not trying to speak for any of you guys here, But I know we talked about this before and yet we haven't heard anything. So that's why I'm bringing it up, because if we haven't heard anything, then it just makes it more difficult. If we're just going to keep going through this process, then how is this helping us out to capture some of that energy, or, lower the costs, or capture even some of the grants that are out there? I mean, it almost seems like we're just, fiddling our hands, not doing anything.
We could do that. The CIP that was approved for the 3 roof project did not include solar though. But if that's something you'd like us to do, we can do that.
Well, could we still look into the solar project, continue with this? But I think what Joanne's saying is, when we are doing these projects, are we thinking of the future? And solar is part of it to save us, money on electricity. Electric cars are going to be here in the next 10 years. We're not going to put a solar panel on a roof that's 10 years old, because then we might have to change it again in the next 10 years. So I think just being a little bit more,
That is something we could look into, but however, the approved CIP does not have any solar projects.
I think he was asking about grants.
Again, we don't have the grant, but that's something, if there's a grant available, then sure, we'd like to do that.
Well, Madam Mayor, I think we'll look at opportunities for future roof projects with solar. I think we're asked to move forward with this project. We can still look at there's project, you can get carports that give solar in that facility too. So there's some options, even though we're doing this roof project. So it sounds like we can get some consensus that you want us to pursue those kind of projects in the future and bring that cost. And sometimes we can get grants, sometimes we can't, but it's still worthwhile to be sustainable in the community. We'll look that way. That's what direction I'm getting here.
Yeah, well, basically any project that we do is, we're not just replacing something because it's old. Are we trying to update it to get involved, with our Wi-Fi systems and stuff like that? So we have to be a little bit more not reactive, but proactive.
And, and that's the thing. I mean, that's why I'm bringing it up, because I know we had council goals and objectives in the past, and
Yeah, we are.
I don't think we've even touched on any surface when it comes to that. So, and, and I'm sorry if it feels like I'm throwing anybody under the bus when it comes to staffing and stuff, but I know that we just got a new individual when it comes to, what is it, engineering? So I think, just letting them know, for the future, what we're looking at, because if we are looking, like Jay mentioned about the electrical part, when you have your cars nowadays, and I mean, people don't realize, I mean, I don't know if you guys drive through the freeways, you will constantly see Teslas on the back of a tow truck. And that's because there's nowhere for them to charge. And I know if in the future we ever decide to go to Tesla or any type of charging, I mean, we don't want to be like, we want to make sure we can, sustain ourselves. And that's all it is. I bring it up now because I see that we're doing this roof project, but yet we've already had 3 years now? I don't know when was 3 to 4 years that we talked about this in 3 years. I mean, nothing has come up. So I'm just bringing it up now just to create the awareness, and, and like I said, I'm bringing it up here just to show the transparency. So, just to, so all of us can be on the same page.
When's the next CIP meeting for the subcommittee?
It's next week.
Maybe who's ever on the subcommittee, or then you guys could look forward into doing
Yeah, we'll
whatever's
take
on
a
there,
look at that.
putting-
This one, we got to get this one
Well,
done.
yeah.
So let's move forward with this one.
Yeah, this one-
But in other areas where it's a possibility to include some kind of solar system or panels, then let's have that a consideration too as well.
Just so you know, we're working on 2 other ones right now. Betty Wilson Center and City Hall. Currently, the scope of work does not include solar, but if that's something that the council wants to add, we can definitely add that. Just we don't have any money allocated or appropriated for that now.
I think we should add it to the other 2.
Mhm.
I mean,
I think we're
City
going
Hall.
to have to. I
Yeah.
think we're going to have to. We have residents calling in asking about solar. It's the way to go. It's innovative. We need to look to the future, and that's the future. So I think we're going to have to.
We could stop working on those. We could do some research in terms of what it would cost. You have to bring an item back to you to amend the CIP for those projects, the scope of work, and then allocate money or find money to do that. We could do that.
I'm perfectly fine with that if you
I'm
guys. are.
fine with that.
We won't have damage because the roof's not repaired.
Yeah, that just letting you know that the Betty Wilson got a lot of damage
Yeah.
with this last rain. So the longer we take, then we're susceptible to more rain damage.
I think we can all agree, we need someone here that does grant writing, because no one's taking the time or there's not enough staff to do grants. We need to hire a grant writer to look out for all these grants that are out there because other cities are doing it, other communities around us. We need to find someone to do our grants. I think we seriously need to hire someone just to do grants for projects like this, for other projects that we have in the city. Because every time we come up with a project, we need to find money for it. But here we see all these other cities having all these grants with $1 million, $500,000, and we have no grants.
And Juanita, just to let you know, we did have a grant writer. And I mean, I don't even want to say because it's a shame that in the number of years that grant writer was here, they captured zero money. And what was it, 5 years they were here? I don't know.
Look into that. I
Yeah,
mean,
so
it's-
that's why it's just, we're bringing this up, and I think we're all on the same page when it comes to this. I'm sorry, like I said, I'm not trying to downplay or anything like that. I know the other group already left, so I'm just letting you know that, we want to see something change, for our future. We want to see we have this facility, we have the library, we have Town Center Hall, we even have the, the mail house, where we own all this property and yet, the aquatic center, and it's just like, we can put all, solar on all these roofs and just, look at the savings that we can potentially do. So, I mean, that's the only reason why I brought it up. I saw this item and I said, this is a perfect time to bring it up out in the open.
I
So,
agree with you. I was telling their city manager just last week, if you want to be successful at something, you have to put the right resources at it. If we don't have the resources, why do we expect grants to come in? So we don't do the grants in engineering, we do the building, right? You give me the money, we'll build whatever you like. But I gave them an example is if we're going to be good at graffiti, we have a dedicated person on graffiti. If we're going to be good at something, we need to have a dedicated person on there. So we shouldn't be surprised if we're not getting successful because we're not having the adequate resources there. But if you can give me the money, we're happy to build solar on there. At this point, we don't have the money allocated.
We also don't want to stop some of these roof
No, we
projects,
have
and
to
we
do
don't
it
want
them.
the infrastructure
Yeah.
to get worse, and then we pay double for a roof.
Yeah.
no, we're not
It's
stopping it.
costly.
I know that,
Yeah.
we all agree on that. It's just, we want to put it on notice at least.
I would advocate that we continue with the roofs. If you
Yeah.
want me to stop, it's fine, but continue with the roofs and then you dedicate resources to try to find money to put solar. And whether it's on a roof or it's on new parking structures, that's out there. We just got to go have somebody to go do that.
Madam Mayor, and to answer all the council members' questions, yeah, we'll pursue that. This was just brought up about hiring not a consultant, but a staff member to coordinate that, because that's what we really need, and potentially a consultant with that, but a staff member to coordinate this. And we were kind of doing with on a part-time basis, it hasn't worked. And so I think we're hearing you loud and clear how we want this to be done. And sustainability is the issue that we need to work through, and we'll improve on that.
So we're continuing what we're doing right now.
Yeah.
And then we have it in the back of our head that we want to look into solar. Yes, okay.
So I'll move item 13.
Second,
All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? So ordered. Item number 14, purchase new light emitting diodes LED streetlights for city light poles. I would like to call on Director of Public Works, Noe Negrete.
Again, good segue. I'll try to touch this thing because it's very sensitive. This is a one we're trying to be more sustainable. This is phase two of part. Sorry, there's many parts to this. The first phase was putting SCE put their LED lights out there. The second phase is now the city changing all of our multiple circuit lights to LED. So we've looked at all the residential area. That's about approximately 425 lights that we can retrofit in. If you recall, though, there is still some lights that are on a series system, a high voltage system that we need to go design. But we felt that we could at least move forward with doing the simpler project first. And that's looking kind of hard to tell here. But if you look at the screen there, it's everything essentially between Arley to the freeway, Los Santos, all the way down just south of Florence. And that's where you get the 425 lights. Those are all city-owned, 120-volt circuits. We're asking today for the purchase of those, and then staff will go schedule to get those installed. We're looking at late first quarter. And then while we do those, then we could look at redesigning both the commercial areas and the remaining residential areas. Any questions?
I'll move. If there are
I'll
no
sec-
questions.
I'll second.
Okay, all those in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? So ordered. Item number 15, review of traffic concerns at Oranday Road and Whiteland Street. I would like to call on our city manager, Ray Cruz.
Yes, Madam Mayor, members of City Council, as you heard one of our oral communication speakers, we received in the city manager's office last Tuesday, October 11th, a petition of 88 residents in the surrounding area of Oranday and Whiteland. There is a request to put a traffic signal in that location. I brought this item on tonight because I wanted to give a status, but coincidentally, staff has already been looking at this area with a lot of the concerns with accidents. So right now, a traffic study is being initiated. It's going to be reviewing the vehicle counts, the pedestrian counts, latest reportable accident data, and intersection sight distance requirements per state guidelines. And through that analysis, it will state if there is a need for a four-way stop control system. So that will take about 2 months. And so we're in the midst of that now. So we wanted to let the residents know who submitted this petition that is being done. So we just wanted to report that and let council be aware where it stands. Thank you for.
We all have questions. so go
Yeah,
ahead.
you want to go first before?
no.
Mine's not gonna be.
So how long, I have a question. Have we done a traffic study on this?
Yes, we have.
On Whiteland
Yeah,
and
dude,
Orange?
I have, yeah. Yes, we have it. You know what, Mr. Sarno? Tell you straight, that's what I was gonna bring up. We did a traffic study and they did it during a time where it was vacation
Yeah,
time.
I remember.
You know what I mean? So it's like, how do you have a set traffic study during a time where you don't really know what the populace in our city is actually? And what I mean by that is, of course, with all the business community and everything else,
There's nobody driving on the street.
there's nobody driving down the street.
So
I mean, we just have to make sure, I mean, if you guys can coordinate it with the schools, coordinate it with Santa Fe High School, the other elementary schools, to find out when they have certain vacation times or what they're doing. So we want to make sure we're not doing it during a time that there's no traffic. You know, I mean, that's the,
But even if this does come back like it did before and says it doesn't warrant it, why can't we put it there because we think it warrants it?
Well,
And the community thinks it warrants it.
yeah.
So what would be the reason that we can't do it?
Madam Mayor, to answer Councilmember Sarno's question. So there's legal requirements. If we do not meet the warrants, there's liability for the city. And so we can be up for liability for an accident
Yeah.
that occurs. So I know that sounds maybe counter intuitive, but you put in a signal or stops in a location can make us more liable for accidents and liable. And maybe our city attorney can shed a little more light on that liability or not.
No, I think you stated it well. That's
Yeah, you
something
did.
that we have to look at. And I think given the concerns with the prior study, this is why they're going to do a new study.
Okay, I wanted to say that I came to City Hall about 25 years ago, same issue, Whiteland and Telegraph. Very, very scary. If you live there for as long as we all have, our Mayor Pro Tem lives on Bartley, I live on Bradwell. It is very scary. I tell my family, do not drive down that street, do not try and cross it, because I don't want anything to happen to my family. I don't want them to get into a car accident. I don't want them to die. What is it going to take? You said there is a need. It's definitely a need. You try living on those streets and making a right-hand turn, try to go to work, and you have to speed up fast in order to not get sideswiped or not get hit. It's very scary. And we just had an accident. My husband came home and told me it was a bad accident. And we need to do something. We cannot wait any longer. We need to take it to the highest level. We need to dig a little deeper, and we need to get this done. 25 years ago, I came to City Hall and nothing got done. And now, 25 years later, we're still asking for the exact same thing. We need a stoplight because the speed, they pick up speed from Charlesworth all the way down when you get to Whiteland. they're already going about 45 to 50 miles per hour. We need to do something, and I'm tired of dragging our feet
Madam
when
Mayor,
people
and-
could be getting killed out there.
Madam
Hold on,
Mayor and
please.
Council,
I just wanted to say, I just want something done. I want us to dig a little deeper and make sure that we take care of our residents so that there aren't any accidents. Let's be proactive. Thank you.
Madam Mayor and Council, staff will study it and do the appropriate studies as outlined in the report, and then we can report back to you the findings of the study and go from there.
Madam Mayor, I would rather, I think the city pay for an accident that someone's gonna sue us than having to go to a resident's funeral. That's the way I think everyone sees it, because we're worried about a lawsuit. We're worried about someone suing us. The last thing I want to do is having to go to a funeral of a child or an adult because we're so worried about a lawsuit. That's, I think, the bottom line on it.
Council, I understand, and I think staff understands that you have strong safety concerns, and of course, safety is number one, and part of that traffic study is to help ensure safety.
Not to,
We already closed public
no,
comment.
but out of respect for the Bastida family, they have a very personal reason. I mean, if
We have to open up public
Yeah.
comments then.
it's,
Is that okay to do?
And yeah, you would have to.
Yeah.
Okay, let me go back to my first page. We are now opening up public comments.
Why this is so personal to the Bastida family, my family, residents for 50 years, is because next month will be 47 years that my sister, who was 12 years old, a vibrant, young, energetic, young girl, was hit by a school bus. Her life was forever changed. Traumatic brain injury. My family's life was forever changed. That's why this is so passionate to me and my family. If my mom was more outspoken like me, she is, but just behind closed doors, she would be here addressing every single one of you because her life has been dedicated to taking care of my sister, her daughter, for 47 years because of that street. This is something that truly something needs to be done because who's the next child whose life is forever going to be changed? So that's why this is so passionate. And again, hearing the back and forth, this is something that truly needs to be addressed because coming from my family, our lives, they're changed by this. And so I don't want to see another family have to go through this, especially after that accident. Thanks be to God that those two children were not damaged. They weren't injured, but just the mere thought that something could have happened, something could happen every single day. This is why that area, it's not a road, it's a freeway because no one listens. So please, again, thank you.
And thank you for bringing light to this matter, because I know that everyone on council's brought it up and talked about it and, gone to, so many battles and, when it comes to this, and it's just something that, I know I live on Bartley and White Line. And so crossing the street, I mean, as a kid, it was real difficult, but we had a crossing guard back then. And even then it was dangerous. And now there's no crossing guard. The lights light up. And I don't know if you guys were aware, but at one time they stole the solar panel from the light and the lights weren't even working. So, I mean, you get all these different things that they don't realize. I mean, it almost seems like we're the stepchild right there on that street, but still, it's something that has been constantly addressed. So I do thank you for putting the effort to shed light on this. So thank you for that, you and Lisa.
May I also, no, by any chance, could we also add Davenport and Warren Day? The one by Cherries, only because
The one by the
Cherries
highway
Donuts,
patrol.
yeah, because this past last week, a high school kid got hit there too. And this is kids from Santa Fe go to Cherries Donuts, which is a common place to go. And that one just has just the strips too. And we had a kid, and it's sad because that child was just at our cleanup at the garden. And then here, not even 2 days, within 2 weeks from that, here he got hit. I mean, that's a high school kid who's very alert and watching what's going on. So could we please add that study too?
How long will the study take?
6 weeks.
Study takes longer. It takes anywhere between 10 and 12 weeks. First of all, we got to do active counts out there. We got to pick them during a time.
What happens if we just say we want a stop sign there now?
Like I say, we're more worried about a lawsuit. I'd rather have a lawsuit than
You
another
know,
death.
If I may, I know that we're answering to, I don't know if it's state or federal or, the county, that we could potentially be liable if a stop sign goes up there. But if there's any liability from those telling us not to put the stop sign up, like either the state or the county, saying do not put this up, and therefore could they be liable if something happens because they say we cannot put a stop sign up there?
Council,
And-
we don't want to talk about hypotheticals. We want to provide you with the actual information for you to assess the situation
Okay.
and go through the process of having the study, and they'll do a thorough study. And there's reasons not to rush the study because, like you said, you're concerned about having an accurate study, right? You want the real information before you.
Well, what's gonna happen is they're gonna do a study. We're gonna have Thanksgiving, we're gonna have Christmas, where work and people are not gonna be around. School's not gonna be in, so the
Gonna be-
traffic is not gonna be the same. And then we're gonna wait till the beginning of the year, and then that's just gonna prolong it even longer.
And
So-
not only that, if you don't mind me adding rain, so you already know people hopefully are not going to be speeding in the rain. So, I mean, the study itself is not going to be as, it's going to be diluted.
I can tell you already, we already taken the counts last week. So now we're analyzing the different data from that. We're also analyzing the different accident history from that. And just want you to know that the staff also wants it to be safe as well. I hope nobody goes away here thinking we don't want a not safe area. We've been analyzing and studying this area the last 10 years, taking in data almost every year. Obviously during COVID, there was no data because there was nobody out there. The last time was 2019, and there's things that have to be warranted to be put in. That's just how the state works. Whether we agree or not agree, that's what we follow. At the end of the day, if you want us to put something in, you have that right to do that.
Okay, so did you say we have the right to put a stop sign or a light there if we wanted it without the approval of the state?
No, we don't need the state. There's state guidelines.
Mhm.
So I sign, right? I sign that these comply with the state.
Mhm.
If you tell me to do that, I don't sign. You tell me, you direct me, and we put that in, and that's the liability that the city has. Something happens there, whether it's the person's fault, they're riding a bike the wrong way of the street and they get hit and killed, it's still our fault because we put something in that was not warranted by the state. Any accident that occurs there, we are now opening ourselves up for liability.
All right, so what if we still pursue the study, but also look at, the traffic light or, or a stop sign to see the cost analysis on that? So at least we already have the ball going, when if we do decide or when we decide to pursue it, at least everything is already set in place. So that's not gonna, cause a delay for another 6 months or whatever it may be.
There's no delay. When you do the study, it's for a four-way stop. So a four-way stop could be a stop sign, or it could be a traffic signal. Obviously, it's cheaper to put in 4 signs and striping than it is for a traffic signal. For a four-way stop, it's probably going to cost you anywhere between $300,000 and $400,000.
Well, me personally, I think I would prefer a four-way stop just because if you have a light, people and they see that they're going to speed up. So, I mean, that's just my take on it. Especially because if you drive there, like, I know a lot of residents that have gotten their cars hit. They have like a slight little bend. There's a slight little curve. So it's a blind spot. And, that's what makes it real. Makes it scary in that situation when you're crossing the street. So I would like us just to pursue the fact of looking at the four-way stop, if you guys don't mind, already, so we have that in motion. I would agree with the traffic light, but if it wouldn't, the stop sign is just better just because it makes it easier. And not only that, just because there is no crossing guard, that takes away from the fact, at least with the stop sign, hopefully, it makes it, yeah. So if we can do that, and I don't know if anybody else wants to say anything, but
I wanted to say that we also have to look at Houghton Street. We definitely need to check that one out. It is just as dangerous. People drive speed very fast there.
since you guys are gonna have a CIP meeting,
Next week.
next week. So I mean, if we all on council can recommend just some streets already, can we
yes.
just send it to them or who?
Email it to John and I.
I think it'd be helpful if. I
Or is it
were,
better just to send it to Noe so we're not breaking the Brown Act
I
or?
think it'd be helpful if we do this for the traffic commission on an
Yeah.
annual basis. We have a PowerPoint we do for receiving file. And we can tell you how we go about doing a study, but also what are the things that are necessary to put in a stop sign and a signal. And I think if I showed you that PowerPoint and tell you the guidelines the state has, you'll understand our difficulties as a city of 16,000 people where we don't have enough traffic to meet those warrants.
We understand that, but look, but constantly we've even asked, I know I have, but asked for, where it's, it gauges your speed, the speedometers that are, energy efficient because they're solar. And, if you look at Bell Gardens, I mean, Bell Gardens has quite a bit of them and they flash. It almost looks like it's taking a picture and people are just slowing down and just in general. But I mean, I think there's a lot of things out there. And I know as council, we drive around and we constantly let you guys know, but I mean, I don't know if you guys are writing it down or not, but we can't just keep coming up with keep going, we're kicking a dead horse now. I mean, it's just, it's redundant now. So I just think if we can just start putting more of these, speedometers that, capture or just let people know, hey, this is how fast you're going. I know we have it now on now it turned into Pioneer. So we had it on Pioneer and now we have it on Orange, but still, I mean, just the fact if we can put some more out there, it just makes it a lot easier. And I know instead of us just keep asking, no, I'm sorry, but it's just, I mean, it's just getting exhausting just that we keep going over the same issue.
No, thank you for telling me that because I wanted to tell you today that we have 2 radar feedback signs in on Pioneer. One is on Flossmoor and one is at Pioneer. Pioneer one's going southbound and the one on Flossmoor is going in northbound. It just got installed last week, so you beat me to the punch.
I've already seen both.
Thank you.
All right. Is there a motion for the approval of item number 15? All those in,
Madam Mayor, just for clarification, I heard a number of things though about number of intersections that you want looked at, that you'll get some information to Noe, so and that he can bring it up in the CIP and also the traffic
Yes,
commission.
that's correct.
And we may come back with what he said with regards to telling what the state guidelines are, so you all know, so what they're running into. We have a brand new traffic engineer who's just come on board within the last month. So we're probably going to be utilizing his skill sets. Heard a lot of good things about him in other cities. So let's work on that.
Thank you. Did we have a motion for the approval of
Yes.
item number 15? All right. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? So ordered. All right. Item number 16, city managers and executive team reports. I would like to call upon our city manager, Ray Cruz.
Yes, Madam Mayor, members of City Council, I was very happy to be able to go last Saturday night to the Santa Fe Springs Firefighters Association Local 3507 retirement dinner. They had 12 firefighters and / Coupa employees go through retirement. They do those every 3 to 5 years, depending on the number of retirements. So they had 12 individuals that went through that. It was outstanding. It was a long ceremony, but I didn't get through all of them because I wanted to run for the first time to the Dia de los Muertos event. So I got there about 9:15, but wanted to tell Chief and all the firefighters that organized that it was a really nice event. So I did get over to Dia de los Muertos event about 9:15, and I know they had a good pour of rain at about 6 o'clock. And but what I saw was some really beautiful displays, and I got that's my first time in 4 years to go to that event, so I was happy to make it. So at that point, so I wanted to let everybody know I was there. So next, I'd like to bring up Noe Negrete again, Director of Public Works, give his report.
No, I have nothing to report. Oh, actually, I have one thing to report. We did get the globe lights, Town Center Plaza. We call them the globe lights, the round ones. And we have a new light for that. If you look in front of the library, that is the new light we're putting in. We did receive those. So now we're trying to schedule these to get them all installed before Christmas so we can hang the new holiday decorations on those lights. So we look forward to that. And I'm going to have Kevin step in for me because hopefully my wife is still waiting for me for dinner.
Oh, that's right. Sorry about that. There was that transition going on. So Kevin has a report, or is he good? Okay, so we'll go at night right now to Wayne Morrell, Director of Planning. Thank you, Noe.
Yes, thank you. Real quickly, I hadn't anticipated making a report, but just briefly, since it came up about grant writing, we being Public Works and the city manager's office, mainly Jeanette, we are looking at getting grants to have some electrical vehicle stations at either Aquatic Center, City Hall, and the fire station. If at the fire station, at least 10 to 12 charging station. And we're working with Jack Wong. He's a gentleman that got us the 333,000 grant for the general plan and some other planning grants. He assists on economic development. So there are some grants that we are seeking in conjunction with not only Public Works, but the city manager's office. And we're also looking at doing some energy audits for our city facility, and that's in conjunction with Public Works. Thank you.
Thank you, Wayne. And I know we talked earlier about grants, and we did use Jack Wong to work through a grant through the Congresswoman Linda Sanchez's office for a treatment plant at well number 12, which we've been hearing has been kind of floundering in the Appropriations Committee of Congress. I'm not hopeful at this point that's going to get approved, kind of some of the reaction, but I'm still in. But we did spend the money for Jack to put together a really good proposal. So it's nothing to do with lack of effort there. But again, the point taken that I think we need someone in-house on staff to do a lot of that too. So at this point, I'd like to bring up Dino Torres, Director of Police Services.
Thank you, Ray. Good evening, council. I just have 4 items, quick items. On October 5th, we participated in the Walk to School Day event that is put together by Community Services, and we just took a picture of here. We always have a number of public safety staff, Whittier PD staff participating, and here's a group picture of that. Next slide, please. Trick or treat at the PSC. So next week and on Halloween, we'll have trick or treat for children who come in, customers who come in. And so we first started this last year, and we're going to continue that. It was really successful. So we'll be doing that next week and on Halloween. Next slide, please. Get ready to shake out. And October 20th is the Great Shakeout event. We'll be having an exercise here at the different facilities here in the city. And so remember to drop, cover, and hold on. So we'll be doing that October 20th, and that'll be this week. Next slide, please. And lastly, is we're always promoting our friends, our partners in the Whittier Police Department. And we used a couple of billboards up on the 5 freeway going both ways, I think on both sides of the freeway. And here's just a picture of that. It's join our team, whittierpd.org. And you go down there and apply to be a Whittier police officer. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dino. Now I'd like to bring up Fire Chief Brent Haber.
Thank you, Ray. Thanks for coming to the event on Saturday, Ray. We appreciate it. The party really started after you left. But that's always by design.
I figured that.
Thank you. Madam Mayor and Council, good evening. I just wanted to give a quick report on the open house that we had on Saturday, October 15th, to commemorate Fire Prevention Week 2022. On Saturday, we did have an open house from 11 till 2 p.m. All the on-duty members brought our new equipment, new truck 811, new engine 84, and it was exciting to see all the members of the city show up. Next slide. Here's a couple of different pictures of stuff that was going on during the day. It was a little cloudy, a little rainy in the morning, but everybody seemed to have a good time. We had prepared 400 hot dogs. I found out that the Miss Santa Fe Springs Court consumed 1, which unfortunately left us about 100 at the end of the event. So we ended up distributing those around town. But anyway, great time, great attendance, up to about 300 people through the course of the day. So it was very impressive. We were able to show off, like I said, a lot of equipment, share a lot about fire prevention and fire safety with the kids, let them actually put some of our devices and equipment into operation. And so everybody had a good time. And so that's the end of the report for me. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. Now, Director of Finance, Travis Hickey.
You know, I really try, but following the fire chief, I'll do my best. So we had a couple members of our human resources personnel attended a conference put on by NeoGov, which is our online based system for recruitments and, you know, all things related to bringing people on board, off board, which deals with our recruitment selection. In the conference, they had a number of sessions on teleworking, hybrid, closing the deal in the competitive market, training and development and employee retention. And so there was a very beneficial conference for them to attend. Next slide. Received this information today from Maribel and Ray's office from the California Department of Finance. And so it was a kind of interesting mix of economic indicators. 3.5% was the unemployment rate for September, which is like a 50-year low. I believe it tied July's number. But we see inflation at 8.2%. Second quarter in a row for the April to June quarter was down 0.5%, was at like -9% the quarter before. So that would be 2 quarters in a row of negative growth. But we did see 121,000 permits issued in the state for August, and the median household home price at just under 840,000. So, you know, in terms of looking at the city's finances and what to expect for the year, it's a little bit of a mixed bag if we go to the next slide. But this one was the one that got my attention. I know there's a lot of data there, but if you look really kind of to the bottom right number, that -11%, that is the state's general fund revenues for the first 3 months of this fiscal year. July, August, and September. The revenues are down 11% versus the projections. And so that's really the first time we've seen that from the state's general fund after 2 years of better than expected growth. And so just sharing some of those factors that we keep in mind as we watch the city's finances for this fiscal year. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Travis. And here from Monticello is Gus Hernandez, Parks and Recreation Services Manager.
Thank you, Ray. Good evening, Honorable Mayor, members of the City Council. I have a few items to report tonight. Earlier this month, as Director Torres mentioned, on Wednesday, October 5th, 5 elementary schools in the Little Lake City School District and Los Nietos School District participated in Walk to School Day. Walk to School Day is a global event that is participated by over 40 countries around the world and is aligned with our city's HEAL initiative. We'd like to thank Mayor Annette Rodriguez and council members Juanita Martin and John Mora for their participation in this event. We'd also like to thank police services in both Norwalk and Santa Fe Springs, the Whittier Police Department, and all of the schools and school staff that supported this event. Here's a short recap video of this event. For our next item, rain didn't stop us from having a great Dia de los Muertos event this past Saturday, October 15th. Approximately 600 guests visited the event, which consisted of great tasting food vendors, sugar skullcraft for kids, 29 artisan vendors, and a community ofrenda showcase. The live entertainment consisted of several dance groups as well as a performance by the Mariachi Catrinas. We want to thank Mayor Pro Tem Joe Angel Zamora and council members Juanita Martin and John Mora who were in attendance and greeted the community. The department also wants to thank the Public Works Department for their logistical support and the Santa Fe Springs Employee Association for hosting the beer garden. This was a new addition for this event this year. And we also have a short recap video for this event. For our next item, the library's First Friday event, Friday, October 7th, and featured the Layla Dance Collective, a Northern Indian dance group. Guests clapped and cheered the expressive and rhythmic dance and music and enjoyed cultural treats. Please enjoy this short recap video. The next item, our Pee Wee Pro Football Clinic ended on the 8th of October, and this was the final session. Pee Wee Pro Smart Clinics are offered to boys and girls ages 2.5 to 4 years old, and the program offers an opportunity to play and develop motor skills and social skills, as well as teaching kids about sportsmanship and the importance of physical activity. The next Pee Wee Pro Clinic is our youth basketball program, and registration for that clinic will begin in November. And finally, we have a lot of Halloween happenings coming up towards the end of the month here. First of all, the Creepy in the Park After Dark is on October 21st from 7 p.m. to 11 p.m. Sorry, Jeff, you can go to the next one. This is going to be held over at Heritage Park. And our attendees will be met by ghostly visitors. Next, our parks will be hosting the pumpkin carving activities for children ages 5 to 12, where they'll design and carve spooky carvings on Friday, October 28th. And then finally, on Saturday, October 29th, our marquee event will be held over at Los Nietos Park, and that's our Halloween Carnival. For more information on all of our Halloween happenings, we encourage our community to visit www.sfshalloween.org. Thank you, and that concludes my report.
Thank you, Gus. And Madam Mayor, that ends our executive team reports.
Thank you. We're going to council comments now. We'll start off with Councilmember Martin.
I love it this week. I think we've been so busy. We had all the events. We had all the events, and at all the events, the firehouse, there was so many people there. Dia de los Muertos, I learned that with Gus, rain or shine, the show will go on. So we already knew it wasn't going to get canceled. It was great. I mean, the walk to school, everything's opening up again. I love the fact that we're starting to get to where we used to be. Red Ribbon Parade, we're getting forward to doing that next week. And last council meeting, the Miss Santa Fe Springs Court was here and they wanted to speak. They didn't get a chance to speak. So what they gave me a message to let the city know they're doing a project, a Polly's project, and they're doing 50 homeless bags with little things, their shampoo, conditioner, all those travel size items that they're doing. They're gonna do 50 bags. So they're just coming and see if anybody has any donations, anything like that, just contact the court, or you can reach out to me and we can get those donations there to them. Besides that, that's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Mora?
Well, I agree. We got a lot of events that have happened with open house events, Dia de los Muertos. What else we got here? The walk to school. And then also the Chamber of Commerce. You know, I think not a month goes by where we have any ribbon cutting. So businesses here in Santa Fe Springs are alive and well. Also, real quick, I did get a great opportunity to attend a Spirit Family Human Services event last Thursday. They celebrated 50 years in operation. And this is an event or this is an organization that basically helps families experiencing trauma, family violence, addictions to drugs, mental health, but they take entire families. 2 or 3 years ago, it was all over the news about a guy that went nuts and he took a chainsaw to his wife's face. She survived, but you know, there was a lot of things that were going on, and this organization helped them get through the whole ordeal. So they're out there, and you know, we had speakers from Janice Hahn's office, Linda Sanchez, who else was out there? Bob Archuleta, but it was a great event, and they're here for the community, and it's an outreach if anybody needs anything from them. And last but not least, I just want to thank those that have donated food and send their prayers over for my son. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Now we have Councilmember Sarno.
Thank you. First, Chief, thank you for a great event. My son was asking for the Dalmatian dog, and he had to realize there is no Dalmatian firehouse dog, but he's seen Sparky. Gus, you've really shown the tradition of this city, and you are, even though you haven't been here for 45 years like Jeannie, you are keeping the traditions alive, rain or shine. And I thank you and the staff, because you guys are part of that tradition that keeps us going and keeps the residents wanting more. So thank you for an awesome event.
Thank you for that. Our staff does an outstanding job. Thank you.
Again, Jeannie, thank you for your service. I know you're not here, but you'll hear it maybe on YouTube or Zoom. Again, 45 years of service, tradition, the things that she's done for our community to move it forward to where we are today. We need to grasp that and keep going. The issues that this city has, the only way we'll move the city forward is everybody working together. That's the only way this city will move forward. So with that, thank you guys. Good night and have a good weekend.
Thank you. Mayor Pro Tem Zamora.
I want to thank the young Marines that came out today. You know, that's the future of our country, of, you know, to serve and protect, you know, these individuals that are already, you know, stepping into that you know, that role. So I do want to thank that. Also want to mention Lucas Goodwin. He was one of the smaller of the young Marines. He was actually outside having some difficulties, knowing that he was going to have to speak. And I mean, I'm just proud that he mustered up the courage to, and, you know, he hit a home run. So Lucas, if you hear this, you did an awesome job. And, you know, when it comes to Jeannie, like Jay said, 45 years of service, you can't, you know, that doesn't happen too often in any line of work or in any location. So I know that we do have some individuals that are still, you know, working and have served our community for a number of years. So, but it just shows that we do have a good crop of employees that, you know, that constantly step up. And, you know, of course, the fire, you know, the you know, going there, you know, the fact that everybody was wondering if it was going to rain, not rain, was it still going to be, you know, going on. And, you know, the cool thing is when residents were calling, I was like, those guys are used to getting wet, so don't worry about it, you know. And then after that, so you guys put on a great event like you guys always do. The kids really loved it, you know, seeing them at school. They were like, hey, Mr. Z, you know, it was great. You know, the dog, you know, and I mean, now they want the dog to come to the school. And I'm like, all right, well, we'll see what we can do. Other than that, I know some of the events that, I mean, Gus, I mean, when I see you sitting in that seat, man, it really looks like the future for you. So, I mean, hopefully that is prophecy that, you know, that's a place that you're going to be in the future because, you know, you Fiestas Patrias, the show still went on. Dia de los Muertos, I mean, just the way the staff was, I mean, they had that downpour that was for about, what, 15, 30 minutes. And just, you know, you see the staff and, you know, how there's happy-go-lucky and they're still going around, walking around. Shoes are all muddy and dirty, but they just, you know, when it came to their smiles, it was a great thing to see. So commend you and your staff for that. The Great Shakeout, I know that this is the 20th. And, you know, I was kind of a little dreading it because I have a classroom of 4 and 5-year-olds. So 20 kids. So I don't know how that's going to work out. So, you know, when it comes to that, I think it's at what, 10:10, what time? 10:20. So as you can see, we're already preparing for 10:10. So, you know, because just to get them in line, get them situated. So I just, it's a great thing. So, you know, we know that we do have another event pretty soon. So when it comes to our Red Ribbon Parade, so I'm just glad that it's back. You know, the last time it got held up by somebody who was in the process of doing something bad, you know, about a block away, right? I think it was a block away. So we had to cancel the whole thing just for the protection and safety of the residents and our kids. So either way, you guys take care and God bless and have a great night.
Yeah, no one mentioned the fact that our next council meeting, it's November 1st, where we're going to be honoring our veterans. And I don't think we made a big enough deal about it. So please, any resident that is a veteran, please come, 5:45, really? Yeah, we're going to have a ceremony outside. And I think we need to have all our veterans here to say thank you for their service. So in case it wasn't said, so November 1st, 5:45 outside. So if you are a veteran, family member that's a veteran here in the city, please come. We need to acknowledge them and thank you.
Thank you. And I want to thank all our residents for being here today. I want to thank everybody for being here. It's so important that you come to our council meetings and see what we're doing here. See what our programs, so see everything that we have to offer. It's I think it's fun. This is like a night out for me. So I just want to also thank the young Marines for being here. I was so proud to see them here, and I'm glad Lucas, as our Mayor Pro Tem said, mustered up the courage to come up here because he's a very sweet young boy. I regretted missing the tour from our firefighters and our Dia de los Muertos. My company had a 75th anniversary in San Antonio, Texas, and my husband and I had to fly over there to be a part of it. And although we had a fabulous time at the Riverwalk and the ranch and everything that we did, my heart is here right here in Santa Fe Springs, and I would have given it up in a minute to be here. But unfortunately, I had to be can't be at 2 places at one time. I wanted to say that this Thursday, we're having our 3rd graders here for a tour of our city hall and all of our departments. I am so excited to see our youth come over here and take a look at what we do here. And we're going to have lots of Halloween events coming up. The Red Ribbon Parade, I was told that I was the first mayor to have the Little Lake City president ride with me. I wanted the kids to ride with me. So I think that's very nice to have our kids just to go and request, let me have some of the kids. I want them in the car with me. So I'm looking forward to that. I'm sure everybody else is. And I want to thank my colleagues for having a great time at the Dia de los Muertos. I tried looking it up on Facebook and I couldn't see anything, but now that I see this great video, Gus, thank you. I'm sure everybody had a great time. And with that, again, thank you to all our residents for being here, and I would like to adjourn this meeting.